First story. I threw away my stepdaughter's food in the trash, grounded her, and banned her from making anything in my kitchen after she disrespected me for cheating with her mom, then abused her to teach her respect. Now everything has collapsed. Everyone has abandoned me, and I'm regretting everything and hate that girl so goddamn much. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I 44M am a single dad to my biological daughter Ellie 12F and stepdad to Savannah 16F. I've been married to my wife, Karen 38F, for about 3 years. She divorced her ex, and 4 months later we moved in together. Naturally, Savannah thinks that means I was the reason their marriage ended, which couldn't be further from the truth. But of course, once a teenager decides you ruined her family, there's no changing her mind. She's never said it outright, but she doesn't have to. The glares, the tone, the constant passive-aggressive behavior, all of it screams that she's waiting for me to slip up so she can tell her dad I'm a piece of crap. The frustrating part is, Savannah isn't some horrible kid to everyone. To outsiders, she's polite and quiet. With Ellie, she's actually fine. Ellie adores her, and Savannah treats her well. That's the part that gets under my skin. The most she can behave, she just chooses not to with me. Around me, she's either icy silent, or she snaps over small things. I've tried to be civil, but honestly, I'm tired of walking on eggshells in my own damn house. Every conversation turns into her rolling her eyes or sighing or muttering something. And my wife? She's always saying, she's just a teenager, don't take it personally. Well, that excuse ran out about 2 years ago. Anyway, this past Sunday, I cooked a nice dinner. Ellie was in a great mood, helping me in the kitchen. Savannah was upstairs the whole time, probably on her phone or sulking. When dinner was ready, I called her down, and she took her sweet time showing up. When she finally came downstairs, she looked like she was attending a funeral. No, thanks, no, hi. Just sat there with her arms crossed. Ellie and I were talking, joking a bit, and I asked Savannah to at least try to participate instead of sitting there looking miserable. I said, hey, can we not kill the mood? You don't have to fake it, but at least try to be respectful. She immediately snapped back. Can you stop lecturing for once? You're so annoying. You ruin everything. I saw red for a second. I didn't yell, I'm not a yeller, but I stood up, walked over, took her plate, and dumped the whole thing in the trash. I said, since you can't bother showing me basic respect, you can start providing for yourself. She said she'd just make cereal, and I told her, nope, that's my milk. You want to eat? Get a job and buy your own groceries. Her eyes went wide like I'd slapped her. She started crying, ran upstairs, and slammed the door. Ellie just sat there, frozen. My wife was at work that night, so it was just the 3 of us. I finished dinner with Ellie and told her not to get involved. I felt completely justified. You don't talk to the adult who keeps the roof over your head like that. But of course, the next morning, my wife was furious. Savannah had texted her crying about it, and apparently I humiliated her. My wife told me I was cruel and out of line. I told her flat out, I'm not rewarding disrespect. She needs accountability. For the next few days, I ignored Savannah completely. I wasn't rude. I just stopped engaging. If she asked something, I'd say, ask your mom. When I cooked, I only made enough for Ellie and myself. My wife started making separate meals for Savannah, which, fine, her choice. Then one evening, after another snippy comment from Savannah about how some people like having control, I decided enough was enough. I walked upstairs with a screwdriver, took her bedroom door off the hinges, and carried it to the garage. She freaked out, obviously. My wife came running up asking what the hell I was doing. I said, privacy is a privilege, not a right. She can earn it back when she learns respect. My wife said I was insane and told me to put it back. I refused. She ended up reinstalling it herself the next day while I was at work. I told her she was undermining me. She said, you're not teaching her lessons, you're bullying her. I disagree. I call it parenting. After that, Savannah barely came out of her room. Ellie started acting more timid too, which was annoying because she hadn't done anything wrong. I told her, you don't need to be scared. You're a good kid. You respect me. That's the difference. She smiled but looked uncomfortable. I didn't think much of it at the time. A few days later, we had a parent-teacher meeting. Savannah's teacher made some small talk about her grades, and I joked, well, maybe she'll do better once she earns her milk privileges back. Everyone laughed except Savannah. My wife shot me a death stare. I said, oh, come on, it's a joke. It's called humor, maybe not everyone gets it. But apparently that was another incident. My wife told me afterwards that I'd embarrassed Savannah publicly. I told her to stop enabling her daughter's victim complex. She said, "You're making our home unbearable." I told her I'm the only one trying to set standards in this house. I started rewarding Ellie more, taking her out for ice cream and praising her for being the respectful one. I wanted her to see that good behavior gets recognized. Savannah obviously noticed, but that's not my problem. When Ellie started looking guilty, saying, "Dad, maybe Savannah's just sad," I told her, "You're not her therapist. Be glad you have some respect for authority." Things just kept escalating after that. My wife said she's at her breaking point. Savannah barely talks now, and when she does, it's through Ellie. That brings me to last week, the laundry incident. Savannah refused to do the chores I'd assigned: laundry, dishes, cleaning, all reasonable stuff, considering how little she contributes. I told her fine, I'd handle it my way. I gathered all her dirty clothes, carried them outside, and dumped them on the porch. I told her, "Maybe when you've worked for something, you'll appreciate it." She shut the door in my face. My wife was furious. She called me cruel and vindictive, said I was creating trauma. I told her to quit throwing therapy buzzwords around and start parenting. She said, "You're not disciplining her, you're punishing her for existing." That one made me laugh. I said, "If existing means disrespecting me in my own house, then yeah, she can do that somewhere else." That didn't go over well. She stopped talking to me for a bit. The house went quiet. Ellie started acting anxious. I could tell she wanted to talk about it, but she didn't know how. I didn't want to drag her into adult business, so I told her, "Just stay out of it, and don't let Savannah's attitude rub off on you." The next weekend, my wife's parents came over for dinner. I wasn't thrilled, but fine. I cooked, set the table, and did everything right. Savannah sat there acting all polite and quiet, pretending nothing ever happened. Her grandma was fussing over her, saying how mature she's gotten lately. I said, "Yeah, she's been working on earning her milk privileges." The whole table went silent. Her grandmother frowned. Savannah's eyes watered. My wife gave me that look that said I'd better shut up. After dinner, my wife pulled me aside and claimed I embarrassed her daughter again. I said, "You know what's embarrassing? Being disrespected by a teenager and everyone pretending it's fine." She said, "You're making this personal." I told her, "It is personal. I'm the one she disrespected, not you, not your parents, me." We didn't talk the rest of the night. Over the next week, I stopped engaging with both of them. I focused on Ellie, took her out for pizza, bought her some new books, and told her how proud I was that she was respectful and responsible. I said, "At least one of my daughters understands how to treat people." I didn't mean it as a jab, it was just the truth. But of course, Savannah overheard and cried even louder. My wife told me I was creating division. I said, "No, Savannah's choices created that. I'm just recognizing reality." At that point, Savannah basically stopped eating dinner with us. She'd wait until late and make something herself. Fine by me. One less problem to deal with. Then came the apology, or whatever that was. She came downstairs one night and said, "I'm sorry for yelling at you that day." I looked at her for maybe 2 seconds and said, "Actions have consequences. I'm done parenting disrespect." Then I went back to watching TV. She stood there for a bit, then walked away. My wife was furious when she found out. Said I crushed her by rejecting that apology. I told her, if it was genuine, she'd show it through her behavior. Not a few tears when she wants her life back to normal. For the next 2 weeks, I didn't talk to Savannah at all. Everything went through Ellie. If Savannah needed something, Ellie would ask me for it. My wife said that was emotional manipulation. I call it efficiency. At one point, Ellie asked if Savannah could go to a friend's birthday party. I told her, if she can afford her own transportation. My wife paid for her anyway. And when they left, I told Ellie, this is why kids don't respect their parents anymore. Too many second chances. I started to notice Ellie getting quieter, like she was walking on eggshells too. One night she said, "Dad, I feel bad for Savannah." I said, "Don't. She made her bed." Ellie said, "She cries a lot now." I told her, "Then maybe she'll think next time before she talks like that." My wife started sleeping in the guest room a few nights a week. Said she needed space. I tried to talk to her and told her she's letting emotions cloud her judgment. She said, "You're destroying this family." I said, "No, I'm trying to save it from falling into disrespect and chaos." We had another argument after that. She said she's been dreading coming home because of the tension. I said, then maybe teach your daughter some manners. She said, my daughter's afraid of you. That hit me weird because of how ridiculous it sounded. Afraid of me. I've never hit anyone, never even yelled. I enforce boundaries. That's it. People just don't like that I don't fold under guilt trips. Anyway, the school called my wife last week. Apparently, Savannah's been having breakdowns in class. She's withdrawn, grades dropping. The counselor wanted a family meeting. My wife said we should go together. I said, no thanks. She went without me. Came home angry again. Said Savannah told the counselor I hate her. I said, maybe she finally told the truth. That's when my wife said she's thinking about moving out for a bit. Said she can't live like this. I told her she's welcome to leave if she can't handle me holding Savannah accountable. She said, you'll end up alone if you keep acting like this. I said, I'd rather be alone than disrespected. That's where things are now. My wife barely talks to me. Savannah avoids me completely. Ellie's stuck in the middle, quiet all the time. Everyone's acting like I'm some monster because I refuse to let a teenager walk all over me. But I stand by what I did. If I start backing down now, I might as well let the kids run the house. Everyone says I should apologize. For what? For expecting respect. For not giving in to manipulation. No thanks. I know people are going to say I'm harsh or controlling. Maybe. But I'm not stupid. I see what's happening: a 16-year-old testing limits, a wife too soft to say no, and a house where I'm the only adult trying to hold a line. So, Ada for refusing to back down. Because honestly, I feel like I'm the only one doing what a parent's supposed to do. Everyone else just wants to coddle her. I'm not losing sleep over it. But I'm curious, does standing your ground now make you an arsehole? Edit. Just to clarify something a bunch of people are speculating about, I did not cheat with my wife. Yes, I knew her before her divorce. In fact, I used to be friends with her ex. We met through work years ago, and over time, I got to know her as well. We were friendly, nothing more. Her marriage was already on the rocks long before I was in the picture in any serious way. Her ex was the kind of guy who couldn't handle conflict without turning it into a soap opera. He accused her of cheating, not just with me, but with anyone who so much as looked at her. I was just the easiest target. He spun this whole narrative that we were having an affair behind his back. Completely false. I comforted her after their fights, sure, but not behind his back. She needed someone to talk to. We built a bond over time. That's not cheating, that's being human. Savannah used to be nice to me in the beginning, by the way. We got along fine. But once her dad started putting ideas in her head about how I ruined the family, that's when everything shifted. He poisoned the well, plain and simple. People love jumping to conclusions, but I'm just setting the record straight. I didn't destroy their marriage. I didn't cheat. Things happened the way they happened, no schemes, no backstabbing. Just two people who found comfort in each other after things fell apart. That's it. Comments. Comment 1. Jesus Christ, YTA. Not even a question. You sound like a power-tripping jackass who's obsessed with respect, but doesn't understand it's a two-way street. Savannah didn't ruin dinner. She responded to your passive-aggressive control freak energy. She's 16. Teens are emotional. You're a 44-year-old man who dumped her food in the trash like a goddamn toddler having a tantrum. And the whole, no milk unless you get a job thing. That's not parenting. That's just spite. You escalated this until the kid's doing laundry outside, and you're bragging about cutting her off emotionally. That's not a boundary. That's a grudge. Also, the edit just confirms what I thought: you were emotionally involved with your now wife before the divorce. Whether or not you physically cheated is irrelevant. You were comforting her after fights with her husband. Come on, man. You were emotionally gearing up to slide in the second he was out. YTA. You didn't parent a teen, you waged war against one and called it discipline. Congrats, your house sounds like a psychological landmine field now. Comment 2. Do you ever stop and wonder why your entire house is miserable except for you and your precious Ellie? No. Wait, even Ellie's starting to look scared of you now. You're like a Dollar Tree King Lear screaming about milk and respect while your whole kingdom falls apart. You didn't want a stepdaughter. You wanted a backup wife to replace your late one and a clone daughter you could keep on a pedestal. And when that didn't happen, you nuked your own household like a psycho with a vengeance kink. She disrespected me, bro, she talked back. You disrespected yourself by acting like a rejected prom king with a screwdriver and a superiority complex. The moment you pulled her bedroom door off, you went full cartoon villain. Why Tia so hard? It's actually impressive. Please keep updating, though. This is like watching someone throw a divorce into a blender in real time. I'd be sad if it wasn't so darkly hilarious. Comment 3. Why TA? You are completely disconnected from how teenagers, grief, and step-family trauma actually work. Savannah is not just being disrespectful, she's been pulled into a broken, messy adult situation that you helped shape, whether you admit it or not. She lost the stable home she had. Then her mom moved in with her ex's former buddy, just 4 months post-divorce, and you think she's just making up stuff because she's mad. Dude, she saw something and drew her own conclusions. Kids aren't dumb. She probably did try to get along with you once, but now you've made your stance so damn clear. She's not your daughter, never will be, and you'll treat her like an intruder unless she kisses the ring. Of course she's shutting down. What do you think it does to a teenager when a grown man constantly mocks her, isolates her, and rewards her sibling for being better? You're turning your own daughter into an emotional tool in your weird power game. You don't need parenting tips. You need therapy, family counseling, and a serious talk with your wife about what a blended family is supposed to look like. Update. I guess everyone's decided I'm the arsehole. My wife, Savannah. Even Ellie, no one's talking to me. People act like I haven't lost anything in this whole mess. I lost my reputation, my friends, and my peace. Half the people in town think I cheated on my wife's ex. I didn't. I knew them both, yes, but I never crossed that line. Still, rumor spreads faster than truth, and once people decided I was the guy who broke up a family, that label stuck. I kept telling myself that if I just worked harder, cooked for everyone, made the house nice, showed consistency, they'd see I was trying. I put effort into every dinner, every weekend, every plan. I poured everything I had into holding this family together, and what did I get? Eye rolls, silence, and accusations. Savannah acting disgusted by the food I made was just the last straw. Maybe people don't understand, but when you spend hours trying to do something decent and a teenager acts like you served poison, it hits you right in the chest. Now my wife says I went too far. She moved out with both girls. Savannah's living with her dad for now, and apparently she doesn't want to come back. My wife keeps calling, saying I need to fix it, I need to apologize, and I need to make her daughter feel safe again. She says if Savannah doesn't come home, our marriage won't survive. But how am I supposed to fix something when no one will even hear my side? They don't see how hard it was for me to step into a blended family where I was hated from day one. Everyone treated me like an intruder, like I had to prove I wasn't some cheating homewrecker. Maybe I handled things badly, but it wasn't malice. It was frustration. I wanted respect, not worship. I've tried calling Ellie, but she doesn't answer. My wife says she's angry at me for making Savannah cry. She won't even let me come by the house to see them unless I start taking responsibility. I told her I can't take responsibility for being blamed for everything that goes wrong. I'm staying in the house alone now. It's quiet. Too quiet. You'd think I'd like the peace, but it feels like being erased. The rooms feel empty, like I'm living in a shell of what I built. The fridge is still stocked, but no one touches anything I make. I even tried cooking the same Sunday dinner again last weekend, just for myself. Couldn't eat it. I ended up throwing it away. My wife texted me last night saying, Ketterpsau, you need to make Savannah want to come back. I don't even know what that means. How am I supposed to make someone want something when they've already decided I'm the enemy? I never hated Savannah. I hated the way she treated me, sure the words, the attitude, but I never wanted her to feel unsafe. I thought I was teaching her to respect boundaries, to appreciate effort. I thought I was showing her how to take responsibility for her actions. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe all I did was make her feel small. I wish someone would see that I was trying to hold this family together in my own way, that I'm not some monster sitting here laughing about it. I was doing what I thought was right. Now it's just me and the quiet. My wife says she's coming by tomorrow to talk about what comes next. I don't know what that means either. All I know is I'm tired, confused, and stuck in a house that doesn't feel like home anymore. I keep asking myself how it got to this point. One dinner, one outburst, and now it feels like I've lost everything. Comments. Comment 1. You keep saying you were just trying to make a point, but your actions scream control, not correction. You escalated a teenage snark into a full-on psychological warfare campaign, revoking food, privacy, and emotional safety, and now you're shocked that no one wants to be around you. Let's break it down. You took Savannah's plate and trashed it to make a statement. That's petty, not parental. You told her she couldn't even eat cereal. That's controlling access to basic needs. You removed her door, a classic power move used to humiliate and dominate, not discipline. You iced her out and made her little sister your proxy messenger. That's textbook triangulation. You used Ellie for praise and validation while alienating Savannah. That's weaponizing your kid. Now you're playing the victim card because your house is quiet and your wife is done begging you to stop hurting her daughter. You didn't lose everything overnight. You torched it slowly and now want sympathy for the smoke in your lungs. YTA, get therapy. Comment 2. Bro. You need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, what kind of man uses his 12-year-old daughter as a go-between in a war he started with a 16-year-old girl? You keep whining about being misunderstood. But the truth is, you used Ellie. You made her your emotional support while SHTing on her stepsister. Then sat there shocked when she started pulling away too. No kid wants to be a pawn in their dad's tantrum campaign. And let's talk about Savannah. You keep saying you didn't hate her, but man, you sure treated her like you did. You didn't just stop talking to her. You humiliated her, mocked her at a effing parent-teacher meeting, and then told her to buy her own milk like you're running a prison, not a home. Now you're sitting in your sad, quiet kitchen wondering why your whole family bounced. You didn't lose them. You drove them out. And guess what? You deserve to sit in that silence for a while. YTA in capital flaming letters. Comment 3. I poured my heart into making dinner, and she acted like it was poison. That sentence really sums it up, doesn't it? You thought cooking a pork chop and mashing some potatoes bought you unconditional respect, like it's currency. But parenting isn't a effing reward system. It's not a vending machine where you shove in meals and expect obedience to come out. You say you were trying to hold the family together, but from where I'm standing, you were trying to force it into a shape that only you were comfortable with, where everyone defers to you, laughs at your jokes, and no one questions the guy with a screwdriver. Your stepdaughter didn't disrespect your cooking. She reacted to being trapped in a house with someone who sees any pushback as betrayal. You didn't ruin the family in one night. You chipped away at it brick by brick. And now that it's collapsed, you're sitting in the rubble asking, why doesn't anyone appreciate my effort? Maybe it's time to stop building walls and start figuring out how to fix what you broke. Or sit in the silence your call. Update. So that deadline my wife gave me, it passed. She told me straight up, if Savannah doesn't feel safe coming home, then she's filing for separation. No more maybes, no more, we'll figure it out. I told her the same thing I've been saying from day one: I'm not apologizing for demanding respect in my own damn house. She hung up. Later, I managed to get my daughter back, though my wife didn't let her go without a fight. Now she's gone full attack mode. Suddenly, I'm getting calls from CPS. Someone made a report that my daughter is being emotionally neglected. Gee, I wonder who made that call. Not hard to connect the dots when it comes right after my wife starts telling me I need to prove I can parent alone. I let the caseworker in. My house was clean, and Ellie was fed, dressed, and watching a movie. Everything in order. They talked to her alone, and she told them she wanted to go back to her stepmom. Of course she did. She's 12 and emotionally shaken. She misses the only other parental figure she's known since her mom passed. But that doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong. Now my wife's using that to push for full custody. Telling me if I love my daughter, I'll let her go. What a joke. I didn't fight this long just to be erased from my own daughter's life. She's my blood. She stays with me. Period. I already lost Savannah, no loss there. Let's be honest. The part that really stings now? Ellie's been different. She throws tantrums, won't eat what I cook, and says, this isn't how mom makes it. She asks to call her stepmom. Cries at night. Says I hate Savannah. I keep telling her, I don't hate her. I hated how she treated me. But to a kid, that all blurs together. I tried to do normal stuff with Ellie, made pancakes, took her to a park, but she just stares off. And when I told her maybe we could do a dad-daughter trip to reset thing, she said, only if stepmom can come. This is the thanks I get. I tried dating again. I figured maybe if I put myself back out there, it'd shake things up. Make my wife realize what she's throwing away. So I re-downloaded some apps, cleaned up, and took a picture with Ellie to show I'm a good dad. Matched with a woman. Chatted a bit. First coffee date, she asks what happened with my marriage. I told her the truth. I tried to parent a disrespectful stepdaughter. My wife took her side, and now I'm rebuilding. She asked if I regretted how I handled it. I said no. I regretted letting it go on that long. She got quiet. Next day, unmatched. Tried again. Second woman. Thought it was going well. Then she asked if I believe in therapy. I said therapy's fine for weak people who need hand-holding. She laughed and said, okay. I told my wife I was seeing someone, just to see if it'd shake her up. She said, I'm glad. Maybe she'll teach you how to love a family you didn't create. I won't lie, that hurt. I hung up before I could say something worse. I called my parents. Thought maybe they'd support me through this. I laid it out how I was disrespected, how I stood up for myself, how now everyone's turning on me. My mom started crying. My dad said, you sound like a bitter man blaming a child for everything. A child. A 16-year-old who cursed me out in front of my daughter. But sure, let's baby her again. They said maybe I should apologize, or at least try to rebuild slowly. I said no, and I won't. You don't get to burn me down and then expect me to rebuild your house. So now here I am, just me and Ellie. I've got a legal battle coming. Probably going to lose the house if my wife pushes hard enough. But I won't lose my daughter. Ellie's still hurting, yeah. She wants a life that doesn't exist anymore. She wants all of us under one roof. And I want that too, but not at the cost of being treated like garbage in my own home. So I'm doing what I can. I'm planning a trip for just us. Maybe getting out of here will help her reset. She needs space, sunshine, and distance from all this crap. I'm thinking somewhere peaceful, not too expensive, with enough distractions to keep her mind busy. We're in Missouri. If anyone's got ideas for a road trip or week-long escape, that's within reach. I'm open. Nature, lakes, whatever. I need her to see that life goes on, even if it's not the life we planned. I'm not the monster everyone makes me out to be. I made mistakes maybe, but I didn't do any of this out of hate. I did it because I was tired of being treated like a doormat. And now, all I can do is move forward. Start from scratch. Just me and Ellie. Let me know if you've got trip suggestions. We need it. Comments. Comment 1. You thought telling your wife you were dating would make her jealous. Bruh. That's not a marriage strategy. That's a high school power play. You're a grown man playing emotional chicken with the mother of your kid. And let's talk about that, dating. You used it as a weapon. Then when it blew up in your face, shocker, you acted like it was proof the world doesn't understand men like you. You're not some misunderstood stoic. You're just pissed people stopped enabling you. You keep saying you were trying to teach Savannah respect. But every example you give is you asserting dominance like you're running a prison, not a household. And the CPS call. You're more worried about who reported you than why your daughter's in a house sad, isolated, and crying at night. You're chasing villains instead of fixing your SHT. You don't need a vacation. You need to stop treating every relationship like a test someone has to pass to stay in your life. Comment 2. You really can't hear yourself, huh? You say you won't lose your daughter, but you already are. You just don't recognize the signs because you're too busy trying to win instead of parent. Ellie's not choosing you, man, she's stuck with you. You used her as a prop and a pawn. And now you're shocked she misses the one consistent woman who cared for her since she was 7. That's not betrayal, that's attachment. Normal, healthy attachment. You should be grateful she bonded with your wife and Savannah. You didn't protect Ellie. You dragged her into your meltdown. You made her your emotional support and started treating her like your teammate in a war she never signed up for. The tantrums. The refusal to eat. That's a kid screaming. This doesn't feel safe anymore. You didn't lose everything over one dinner. You lost everything over months, maybe years of needing to be right instead of being a father. You want a trip suggestion? Take her to therapy, not a lake. Comment 3. You forced that kid to live with you because it was the one power you had left. Don't even pretend it's about family or love. Ellie doesn't want to be there. Every sentence in your post screams it. The crying at night, refusing to eat, and asking to call her stepmom, that's not rebellion, that's desperation. You think she's ungrateful, but she's just trying to survive a home that feels like punishment. You can't fix this by dragging her to some lake in Missouri and pretending you're starting fresh. You can't take a vacation from emotional damage. She's counting the days until she can make her own choice. And when she does, she's gone. And when that day comes, don't twist it into, everyone abandoned me. You built this isolation brick by brick. You locked her into your loneliness, and one day she'll finally escape it. And you'll call that betrayal when it's really freedom. Second story. My husband cheated on me, and now I'm going to break his mistress's heart. My husband is having an affair. I found out 8 months ago when a text from Henry said, I love you. I managed to sync his text up to our iCloud and have been monitoring them ever since. Even worse, his mistress is also a victim in this. She has no idea that he's married. He told her that he's separated from me, and we're going through the divorce process. To his credit, he doesn't badmouth me as the horrible ex-wife that makes him miserable. He doesn't talk about me at all. I also think that's because the evil ex-wife is a classic lie from a cheating husband, and she's smart enough to see through that. I know that usually the wife hates the mistress, or at least resents her. But I can't hate her. I love her so much. She has no idea that my husband is a loser, and she's such a sweetheart who deserves the entire world. She sends pictures of the holiday cards that she makes for the people in the local nursing homes, because the holidays can be such a lonely time for them. She texts him little love poems. When he says that he's stressed, she asks him how she can help. She's so smart too. Whenever she talks about something that she's interested in, it's like a YouTube deep dive, only in text instead. My husband loves The Deadliest Catch. She explained to him why the FV destination sank. It was fascinating. She also said how happy she was that the tragedy was taken seriously enough to make stricter rules about safety regulations to keep fishermen safe. My loser of a husband doesn't deserve to even breathe in her direction. I know that I need to confront him and tell him that I want a divorce. I've been putting it off. He wouldn't be man enough to face her, so it would be up to me to break her heart for him by giving her the bad news. I don't want to be the one who makes her cry. I just hope that she knows that even though she lost a cheating boyfriend, she'll have a friend in me. I don't want her to feel embarrassed or ashamed for something that was done to her, and not because of her. That's what I'm dreading the most about the upcoming SHT storm. Comments. Comment 1. Make sure you have proof that you two are still married and living together. She may go to denial first. Best of luck, OP. Comment 2. Exactly this. There is still a chance she may forgive him and stay with him. So it is worth being ready for that possibility as well. Comment 3. It isn't her job to prove anything to her. Nothing but, I'm Bozo's wife, and I just found out he has been seeing you. I'm not mad at you. I know he lied to you and said we weren't together anymore. Well, I'm about to file for divorce now, so if you still want him, he's all yours. But I thought you had a right to know what kind of man he is. I believe you deserve better. It's the other woman's job to decide what to do with that information. There is zero reason to put any effort into proving anything. OP has enough on her plate right now. OP, go see a lawyer and get your ducks in a row before you tip your hand. Comment 4. She sounds like a lovely person. That's sort of a catch-22 problem. People see the world through their own filters. She is a good person at heart, and so thinks others are, even your slimy STBX. Comment 5. I've been on both sides of the spectrum of this when being cheated on. One genuine sweetheart who had no idea she was lied to and manipulated in the exact same way that I was. Although I and my partner were engaged at the time, and he was living in my house. She and I still talk, and I really like her as a person to this day. But more often it was the unfortunate types that got off on knowing that my partner was cheating on me with them. Like really insecure, ugly inside and out girls. At least those relationships were a effing breeze to get over, because they would be so pathetic that it stopped hurting and started becoming funny to me. Comment 6. Please tell her. She deserves so much better, as do you. I hope both of you have happier days ahead without the scumbag. OP. She'll be informed very soon, trust me. Comments from OP. I intend to tell her soon. I've gotten all the evidence I need and am looking for a divorce attorney. I was considering waiting until serving him divorce papers, but I honestly don't know how the process works. The TV shows make it seem like you just give it to them, sometimes in a creative way. TV isn't reality, though. I don't know what to expect, and I think that's also what made me hesitant. I don't want to jeopardize my divorce by doing the wrong thing. She's definitely not the kind of person that would stay after the truth about the boyfriend is exposed. I would be very shocked if she did. I think I would have been the same if his mistress had been anyone else. I just couldn't possibly resent someone that goes out of her way to make the elderly in nursing homes less lonely. Judgment NTA. Update. I was the one that posted about not wanting to break my husband's mistress' heart. Here's the update. I'm sorry for any formatting problems. I'm on mobile. I'm going to call my husband Oscar for this. And the other woman, Meredith. I found a lawyer and have started the divorce process. Before I confronted Oscar, I reached out to Meredith with proof that I was his wife. I didn't want to give him a chance to twist the narrative like some of you warned me about. I also sent her my post, like many of you suggested. She believed me. She dumped my trash husband and wants nothing to do with him. I knew that she wouldn't stay with him. There won't be a friendship between us though. I thought that this would end with us united together, making a fool of my husband. Instead, I regret all of this. Meredith wasn't who I thought she was. I was wrong about everything. After dealing with my husband, she sent me this message. Husband is trash. I'm genuinely sorry that this happened to you. I'm furious to know that I was dating someone who takes enjoyment out of toying with people. I feel for you on that front, and I hope that you heal. I also hope that you come out on top in the divorce, and he has to pay a large alimony, at least if the divorce courts in our state still grant alimony. I don't know how any of that works. This message is about you, though. Since you already posted this debacle on Reddit, you can share this there as well. In fact, I hope you do because it will clear everything up with the actual truth. Yes, I could make my own post, but nobody ever believes posts from another account that share the other side of the story. Nobody would take me seriously, provided they take me seriously now. If you do post it, I expect you to change our names to protect our privacy. There were a few people in the comments that were bothered by me overlooking his explanation about being separated from his wife. I saw no reason to question it. I know plenty of people that started dating while separated from their spouses, especially if the divorce is taking a long time. That didn't ring any alarm bells for me. I wasn't going to demand that someone provide proof that they're going through an emotionally painful process for no reason. For me, doing that would be antagonizing someone just to make me feel better. It's not my responsibility to force someone to be honest. You were right that I would have caught on with the evil ex-wife trope. The reason that I believed him at all was because his divorce with you wasn't ever relevant to our relationship, the way that dating a man going through a separation should be. I've learned my own lessons from this as well. If you truly put off taking action for 8 months out of worry for my mental health, that was a stupid move. It screws with someone more to be falling deeper in love with them for a longer amount of time. Yes, I'm upset and heartbroken that my boyfriend turned out to be a married asshole. It's still not the end of the world. I'm not going to mentally snap. I'm more blindsided by your response to everything. Boyfriends being married isn't a new thing, but the wife being emotionally obsessed with the other woman to the point of delusion is unheard of. I am deeply disturbed by this situation. It should not have taken you 8 months to put a stop to all of this. You didn't even contact a divorce attorney until now. Our first naked exchange was plenty of proof of his infidelity. Instead, you let us carry on exchanging intimate images with each other for months, while silently viewing them without my permission. You've also developed this fantasy of me as a sweet, fragile little thing based off of messages between me and my romantic partner. Romantic partners are more vulnerable with each other. They aren't that way with other people. This fantasy of me could not be any further from the truth. Even worse, your assumptions were based on someone else. As you know, the deep dive in the FV destination and the holiday cards for the local nursing home were links that I shared from website removed for privacy. Username isn't me. I didn't even have a website account before I found her page. I only discovered her when I was looking up the FV destination and enjoyed her post. She has several interesting deep dive posts, so I shared a few more of them with him. I also shared her holiday cards for the elderly, which I found very sweet. I think that you wanted to believe that the account was mine, and that I made the post about the FV destination for Oscar. This is especially confusing because she said in her post that she'd made it because she'd been binge-watching The Deadliest Catch while recovering from surgery. She never mentioned a boyfriend in her post. We also don't look anything like each other. Our handwriting is different, and she's younger than me. The only thing that username and I have in common is a slightly similar writing style. We both have a problem with run-on sentences, though she uses fancier language. Why you wanted to believe that I was her is beyond me. The only reason that I haven't warned her about you is because your obsession was with me and not her. I'm not dragging an innocent content creator into a nasty divorce with a wife that's completely unhinged. If you've posted this on Reddit and removed her name and social media from your post like you should be doing, she'll still be removed from all of the drama without needing to know about it. Everyone is talking about how we should run away and get married, or that I would stay with him despite the evidence. I'm honestly offended by all of this, because it depicts me as an idiot in both scenarios. I'm either a fool that's too in love to see the signs or a fool that writes off stalking as an empowering story about #sisterhood. Someone even said in the comments, "Poor girl. She's either too stupid or too young to understand that never meeting his family or friends is a sign that he's married. He told me that he's estranged from his family." Are people so insensitive that they'd grill someone who said that they were estranged from their family? You don't go no contact with family for no reason. And I wasn't about to force him to talk about something that he wasn't ready to talk about. I've also met his work friends, But obviously they've never met you. Or maybe they had the whole bro code rule among them. Who knows? You never asked me any questions. You just sent me this delusional post and used the comments as proof that I needed saving. The only people that suggested that I might not be this idea that you've made of me were putting me in the villain category. You don't know her. All you know is the person that she presents herself as in text messages. More importantly, she's already in love with him. So she's going to believe him over you. They only warned you that I might take his side. Nobody wondered about my response outside of those two options. They were too busy swooning over your response to blame the cheating husband and not the oblivious other woman. They went so far as to create these elaborate backstories for what was essentially a fictional character. Not to mention that this fictional character is based off of someone else's social media. Someone who, mind you, doesn't even know that we exist. If I made a post saying that I just found out that I'm the other woman and his wife was now obsessed with me based off of our text messages, their responses would be vastly different. People would be diagnosing her with various mental health disorders. There'd be random guesses into her family background. And they'd probably even create some backstory about a traumatic childhood to explain what was happening. Take all of the encouragement as a lesson that the person making the post is always the protagonist, except in cases where it's obvious that they aren't. You see yourself as this hero protecting an innocent girl, while I see you as a disturbed lunatic who literally saw me naked with her husband on multiple occasions and decided to create a Shakespearean tragedy instead of taking any real action. You need help. This is not normal. I hope that you are eventually able to come out on the other side of all of this, but I want nothing to do with any of it. This situation is impinging on my life and sense of security. It also dragged someone else into it and put her at risk as well. I respectfully ask that you never contact me again. If you do try to contact me again, or if my intimate pictures end up on the internet, I will pursue legal action. And please don't make me regret not warning username about you. Leave her alone. Regards, Meredith. She's right. I'm going to look for a psychiatrist to figure out why I did all of that. I'm not going to post about this anymore. Comments. Comment 1. Seems like you never wanted to do anything bad. But when you look at this from her angle, it does seem pretty weird. Comment 2. Yeah, I totally agree with her. I saw your last post, and I thought you were insane for not telling her for months and confused as to why the comments were being supportive of you. Comment 3. I'm genuinely baffled. She was questioned quite a lot on the original post as to why it took so long, and she always said, I don't know how divorce works. May, that's what divorce lawyers are for, and it doesn't take 8 months to get one. Comment 4. I think Meredith is understandably hurt and was a bit harsh with you. She isn't wrong, but I think some empathy for you is called for. Finding out that you're being cheated on can be extremely shocking, and I can see how you might develop a fascination with the mistress. I do think it is a good idea to seek mental health help. The road ahead will not be easy. I wish you and Meredith healing and peace. Comment 5. Like she said, there's always more sides. Your side, her side, his side, and the truth. None of which is in favor of him. I feel like you held on longer than you should have, because you were likely dreading the divorce, which is fair. I would too. I think talking to someone would be helpful. Chin up. You'll make it out on the other side. Good luck. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.